We welcome you to Chapel Hill, where it is a beautiful day for lacrosse at Dorrance Field. And what a matchup we have. #1 undefeated Syracuse, led by Megan Tyrell, taking on the reigning national champions, North Carolina. And with all that talent at the disposal for Kayla Trainer, the passing has really been outstanding. #1 in the country in assists. So when you move the ball really well, makes it easier to shoot and score at 52% shooting percentage on the season. That makes it a really tall task for Alicia Nicholas of this North Carolina defense.
Nicholas, in her first year as a starter, has had a great season. 6 in Division I for 8 goals against average. But the defensive task in front of her, Emily Knowles and Brooklyn Walker-Welsh, are going to have to lock down defensively, make sure that they watch those off-ball cutters, try to slow down the Syracuse offense, somehow disrupt the rhythm, which no one's been able to do.
North Carolina having to adjust the draw control circle today. Jenny Levy's team has won 40 straight games at home. It's senior day in Chapel Hill. If you're a 4-year senior, you have never lost here at home at Dorrance Field.
Which I think we've seen this year. Home field advantage always means a lot in any sport, but this year in particular, a lot of the upsets and the big battles, people have lost when they are on the road. So a big advantage to be playing this one at home. The temperature is high. We're finally starting to feel like spring weather. Humidity is high, and this Carolina team has seen a ton of success on this field.
North Carolina in the home white, Syracuse in the road blue and orange. And we are underway. 2 of the top teams in the country and in the ACC set to battle. Syracuse taking their undefeated season and putting it on the line against the reigning national champions. A good sign that the Tar Heels won the opening draw. They're without their star draw taker the rest of the season, Sophie Student. She's out the remainder of the year after a lower body injury. So North Carolina possession will be at a premium for them.
It's a big loss on Tom Student. She was a star of Virginia Tech, a transfer. We're going to see a foul inside the 8-meter. It's going to set up a great angle.
Melissa Scanoni, a dangerous lefty. And an early test for Delaney Schweitzer in goal for Syracuse. Got a piece of it. It'll stay North Carolina ball, but Scanoni comes up empty on the 8-meter. And because Schweitzer got a tip of that ball, shot clock resets to 60.
You wonder if these teams, with the temperature and humidity being so high, will they opt to slow it down a little bit, try to tire out the defense?
Curling around, didn't get quite the angle. North Carolina's 2 losses this year was slow starts that plagued them. That's not a slow start. Melissa Scanoni opens the scoring on a bouncer.
What a first offensive play that this UNC team has. Coming off the draw control win, they had multiple chances and good looks on Cage. This starts from behind. Godine gets it to Scanoni. I like how she mixed things up. She missed that first 8-meter. That went high. This one, she opts to take it low. Schweitzer's not able to get a good read on that shot. You can see how pumped up she is. Gets her fourth goal of the season.
Jenny Levy has called Scanoni their zone buster. Dangerous lefty. And against the Syracuse zone today, a breakdown on the restart leads to the first goal of the game. We were mentioning those slow starts against Northwestern and Notre Dame in the 2 losses this year. To score on the first possession will do wonders for Jenny Levy's team.
That's probably been my biggest surprise about this Carolina team this year, is some of the slower starts that they've had and really keeping pace offensively. Got a ton of young talent they've been working into the mix. A lot of freshmen are making their first collegiate experience, trying to adjust the game. They've had a tremendous amount of success. But some of the slower starts have been concerning.
It's Olivia Dirks who stays in the draw control circle in place of the injured Sophie Student. And once again, the draw won by the Tar Heels. It's probably the biggest question mark in this game today is how will North Carolina fare in the draw without Student? And also Syracuse reworking their draw control team. Olivia Adamson has stepped in for Kate Machewski. Adamson coming off a 14 draw control performance against Clemson. So Kayla Traynor feeling really good about their draw unit coming into Chapel Hill, but they've lost the opening too.
Looks like they're calling an offside snap. I think the count may have been off. The officials are going to discuss a little bit. But Jay, you're right. With Machewski going down, she was breaking all sorts of records at Syracuse. And they've had to readjust things. Adamson had not taken a draw until this year. They worked her into the mix, and she's really developed her craft. But right now, you've taken 2 draw controls. You got to adjust and figure out if there's ways that you can counteract, either doing something in the circle for the draw taker itself or the outside circle players. What can they do? Box out better, get themselves in better positioning. This ball will stay UNC's way.
Here's Reilly Casey, 51 points on the season for Casey, leads North Carolina. Here's the freshman Caroline Godine.
Excellent draw of shooting space foul. So when you're a defensive player and you play a little bit off, you can sometimes get drawn into shooting space. Great heads-up play with the pass and then the ability to look to shoot for Dirks and have the opportunity to shoot, which drew the foul.
Great angle for Dirks. Charges in. Schweitzer, great save. Delaney Schweitzer went low to stop that one.
Schweitzer, probably one of the hottest goalies in the nation right now, taking over this starting job for Syracuse and had some excellent games. Really impressed with her clearing ability.
2.5 minutes into this game, but Syracuse getting their first possession. So much firepower offensively for the Orange. North Carolina really strong defensively, so that's a great chess match. The Tar Heels without Julia Dorsey on this defensive unit. She's out for the remainder of the season. Here's Meaghan Tyrell. Picked out her sister Emma, who couldn't finish it. Battle for the ball. Stays Syracuse's way.
One of the strengths of this offense is they look for weaknesses in the defense. You send that slide early, they're going to burn you. They know when to dodge. They know when to dish it out.
Shot clock had to be reset to 36 seconds. They accidentally reset it. That's what makes Meaghan Tyrell so dangerous. Such a gifted passer, but can take her player off ball and score as well. Here's Maddie Baxter. 25 seconds left on the shot clock for the Orange. Baxter in attack mode. Emma Ward, who leads the Orange in assists. Adds another to her tally. Emma Tyrell on the feed from Emma Ward. And it's an Emma Show equalizer.
This all starts on the defensive end with Syracuse's Delaney Schweitzer coming up with a key save on the 8-meter. Excellent job. That bounces off her stick, but she just positions her body in a way to corral that ball in the crease. Emma Ward, she passes that actually before Emma Tyrell gets that. And what's most impressive to me off the shot is the way that Emma Tyrell just turns her wrist just a little bit, changes the trajectory of the shot, slips out around Nicholas, and she gets her 35th goal this season. Tyrell did not play in last week's game, but back in action today.
And we mentioned it before the first draw, Sheehan, but the depth that Syracuse has offensively. Megan Tyrell, Megan Carney, Emma Ward. Those are your first 3 on the scouting report. And then you have a player like Emma Tyrell who chips in with 35 goals. On many teams, she would be the #1 star player.
And I think she causes a ton of concern when you're trying to scout them. Is the off-ball work that the surrounding offensive players do. They're constantly cutting. You know that they're looking to feed them. Such an excellent finisher. I mean, the team #1 in the nation in shooting percentage. North
Carolina, another draw control win, but they give it away. So that'll go down in the stat sheet as a Tar Heels draw control win, but didn't get any possession. Natalie Smith weaving through traffic for the Orange.
The hard part about guarding this Syracuse offense is there's not necessarily one player that you can take out of the game and then really disrupt the rhythm. Meaghan Tyrell gets a ton of the accolades. We get players like Emma Ward right now with the ball, which she is just so tough to stop. Excellent shooter in her distributing ability.
Here's Megan Carney, Syracuse's leading scorer. Great save by Nicholas. Rebound still being chased down, and it's North Carolina ball. You know, the way North Carolina wins games is usually with their defense. They play man-to-man, Sheehan, and it's just, you got to win your individual matchup. But as you said, easier said than done against this high-powered Syracuse offense.
And that's a dilemma that they're going to have defensively. Do they send the slide early? Do they hold tight because they know that they can thread the needle with the passing?
Working around the perimeter of the Syracuse zone. Now dumped inside to Wurzburger. Does not fool Delaney Schweitzer.
Schweitzer read that really well. Wurzburger threw in the fake and went low.
3 saves already for the standout Syracuse goalie. She's so active in the clearing game. Don't be surprised if she gets all the way to midfield.
Which I feel like has been a characteristic of Syracuse goalies. Liz Hogan used to come out of the cage. Asa Goldstock used to like to really just play an active role.
Baxter has a step in, uses it. Maddie Baxter fires Syracuse in front.
This is a good angle for Syracuse to attack from, coming down the right side of the field. Maddie Baxter goes hard. This is hard defensively. You try to force them out, and she's just about at the edge of the 8-meter arc. But look at the positioning of this shot. Not much space between Nicholas's stick, head, and the goalpost. But Baxter is able to fire that in. And that's tough as a keeper. You think you've cut down the angle, you're holding tight to the pipe. But when you've got these sharpshooters that can just thread the needle in terms of where they're going to place the shot, very tough to stop.
I was about to say, if you're North Carolina, that's the shot you want. It's not Megan Tyrell, Megan Carney, Emma Ward, Emma Tyrell. It's Maddie Baxter, low angle, and yet the junior out of the Hill Academy makes North Carolina pay.
North Carolina with the edge with the draw control wins. Syracuse yet to get a control here.
They're still looking for that first draw control win of the day, but the Orange do have the lead. Here's Marissa White, a freshman who's had a fabulous first season here in Chapel Hill, 21 in white. She's been the go-to scorer this season for North Carolina.
White's the only Tar Heel player to score in every game. That's another shooting space called. A way that you can avoid that defensively is mark up tighter. Get right on the player, approach at an angle, but when they go to receive the ball and look to shoot, you got to get out of that path. The cage is a safety call.
Casey rears back, fires, inches away. North Carolina 0 for 3 on free positions in this first quarter. They've had 3 opportunities from the 8-meter, and they've come up empty.
And that's a key statistic. You know, going 0 for 3 on the 8-meter, those are, you're going to get fouled, you're going to draw the foul. You need to make sure you convert. Most teams like to be shooting about 50% on their conversion rate.
Now the officials have stopped play to review this. On the field, it was ruled no goal. But because it's two ACC opponents, we do have official video review on scoring plays. So let's take a look together. For Jenny Levy as the officials confirmed that it was indeed no goal. Why now? Why not wait till after the season? And she said, well, we have to. The rules are due proposed changes April 1st, and then a survey goes out to all the coaches the first week of May, so it was really now or never. And it has generated a lot of positive conversation, and I guess we all wait and see what the Rules Committee ends up deciding and implementing before next season. Meaghan Tyrell in attack mode, slippery through the North Carolina defense. That's her second goal of the afternoon.
Meaghan Tyrell makes this look easy. Look at the spacing she has. Protects her stick in front of her face. Not a ton of speed on that but the placement is right, and Syracuse now's got the lead. #1 team is up 3-1.
To Notre Dame, and you look at the production, true freshmen, the bench really getting involved for North Carolina. They can't lean on the upperclassmen like they have the previous 2 years.
You know, they graduated Jamie Ortega last year, who's the career points holder for UNC. So a lot of goals they need to figure out, trying to find that leadership. And one of the things we talked to Coach Levy this week is, you know, you can't coach experience. You just have to let them get in there. And these freshmen and the players that have been in reserve players, playing key roles on the scout team, are now in starting roles. It takes a while to adjust to things. I think those losses, we're going to see this UNC team grow from them. The losses against Notre Dame and Northwestern were not their best games by any means, but exposed some areas that they needed to improve.
And that's why I think this game is so important for North Carolina. If they could prove to themselves that they could beat an undefeated #1 team, hard foul there against Natalie Smith. That's a yellow card. So North Carolina will go player up.
Watch the foul, the extension of the arms. So running at the player, extending the arms, that pushing, displacing the player. That's going to be a 2-minute penalty. It is releasable. And that's Smith. So 2 yellow cards are removed from the game. So that just is a warning to all players. Any card is a warning to all players to clean up the play. We know that the officials are going to be looking for those cross checks. It is a point of emphasis.
As North Carolina moves player up for the next 2 minutes, just putting a cap on that point. Today feels like the day that if North Carolina is going to make a postseason push, a win against #1 undefeated Syracuse right at the end of the regular season here would do wonders for this team's confidence.
This is an unfamiliar territory also for Carolina. They are not the ones that are being hunted. They are the hunters right now, that underdog mentality.
Great feed inside. Godine stuffed by Schweitzer. But Syracuse's goalie couldn't corral it. Delaney Schweitzer made the save, didn't come up with the ball, so North Carolina still on the attack here, player up. Here's Reilly Casey, 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Godine fouled. She's the lone goal scorer for North Carolina today. Backed up to the 12-meter, though, so doesn't get a clear shot at goal.
Defense is really clogging in the middle of the field. Make it tough to get the feeds inside. It's a good opportunity for Casey.
North Carolina 0 for 3 on free positions today. Delaney Schweitzer's already made 4 saves in this first quarter. Casey went high, too much heat on it.
I would have liked to see her run that in. She had no one on her left side, had plenty of time to go into the cage, get inside that 8-meter.
9 seconds on the shot clock. North Carolina tried to squeeze it in to Humphrey, and she's fouled. So Nicole Humphrey now gets an 8-meter opportunity. She's coming off a career-high 4 goals midweek against East Carolina. The senior out of Darien, Connecticut, a great opportunity here to cash in on the player up. One-on-one with Schweitzer. Charges in, rings it up the pipe. It did not cross the line. And here comes Syracuse launching into an attack.
North Carolina really struggling on those 8-meter shots.
Emma Ward has space, shot it. Right as the whistle blew. So this will be a free position for Emma Ward. And the penalty is cleared by Syracuse, so now back to even strength.
So watch the excellent pursuit into the 8-meter. And you see where the ball lands, does not go over that goal line.
Emma Ward, the wind-up, great save. Alicia Nicholas, the hero.
That's a key save for Nicholas, too. You see Emma Ward up there, and she can be just cash it in from the 8-meter. Crossbody save, quick clear.
And North Carolina goes down and scores with Humphrey. The save on one end, and Humphrey cashes in on the other. Oh boy, do the Tar Heels need that. They're right back in it.
Those are one of those momentum goals. It starts with a great save. You transition down the field. You work the numbers. So North Carolina not able to make it happen on their previous offensive play. Nicholas, love how she makes that crossbody save, controls it, and beautiful feed from Caitlin Wurzberger and Nicole Humphrey with the finish. And that's a smart play there. You have the numbers, keep pushing it. Sometimes teams like to just take the air out of the ball and reset. Well, notice that was a clear opportunity for North Carolina to push the tempo.
And it was Humphrey who missed that free position. And just 30 seconds later scores. North Carolina is so dangerous in transition, and that's a great example why.
And that's excellent. That's why a goalie, it's so key if you have a quick clear. And I think we've seen from both keepers today, when they make the save increase, you want to quickly look for that outlet pass. And that's on your defensive players, just to get into space, transition down the field.
North Carolina has dominated the draw control circle. They've won all 5 draws today. But it's Syracuse that leads on the scoreboard 3-2. A little more than 4 minutes left in this opening quarter. Adamson wins her first draw of the day. Now, if you're Syracuse, you clear the penalty, go player down for 2 minutes and force North Carolina to turn it over. Then you have a free position, a chance to make it 4-1. What a momentum swing it is to miss that shot, and North Carolina storms down and scores on the other end. Here's Megan Tyrell, who's been quiet in this first quarter. 80 points on the season for Tyrell. Stinging the corner, Natalie Smith. Wow, what a goal. And Syracuse answers immediately.
I love how Megan Tyrell just doesn't force things. She lets the game come to her. The double team slid. She gets a striking Nat Smith coming down the center of the field. She takes it in the stride. See the double team there? And Nat Smith gets a step, and love her release point. Drops her stick low, fires it to the corner. Look at the spacing. This is a great angle here. And the way Nat Smith is able to create more separation from her defender by running to the right side, but she's going to the right side. She fires it top corner left.
You can't place it any better than that.
So impressive. 3 goals on 5 shots versus North Carolina last season.
And it was Smith who was yellow carded and served the 2-minute penalty. Hops right back on the field and absolutely stings the corner. Perfectly placed to put Syracuse up 4-2.
Some of the rule changes coaches are proposing. Another one that a lot of coaches talk about is the draw. Should it be eliminated? Should it be somehow, if it takes a long time for a setup, are there tweaks to it that should be made in the game?
Quick restart.
We're going to see a yellow card. The second yellow card. Maddie Baxter's going to run off. That was for tripping.
It was Emily Knowles who got tangled up with Baxter. Kayla Trainor's not happy. She thought it was incidental contact and that Knowles just lost her footing.
Let's go, boys!
Great
I thought it was Baxter that ran into Knowles, but they're going to say it's Katie Goodale, and the junior Syracuse's top defender. So the fact that Goodale is serving the player down is huge, because now Syracuse is a player down without their top defender. Big opportunity for North Carolina. Can the Tar Heels cash in? They came up empty when they went player up earlier this quarter. Marissa White calling for it. They tried to feed it to the freshman, and it's intercepted.
Huge defensive stop for Syracuse. And that's what Syracuse defense makes you do. They want to bait you to feed the ball in the center. They're able to collapse, get their sticks in there, come up with a key turnover. So another failed player opportunity. Still a minute and 20 seconds left to go. So can UNC put the pressure on, trying to get the ball back?
Syracuse is a team, too, we've seen score shorthanded.
And I think that's something you should look to do. And that's something you do practice, because a lot of times the defense doesn't think you're going to go to goal. They think you're going to work to get a penalty, get all even. But when you strike and the defense isn't ready for it, you can oftentimes find the seams. That extra player often doesn't know necessarily where to go. Do they start to double team? Do they back off? So you can really get teams in a dicey position. It looks like Syracuse opting to
maybe run it down to about 20 seconds left in the penalty and then attack.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the differential with the penalty and the shot clock, so they're going to need to get a shot off. Another great thing you can look to do is try to draw a foul. Get yourself set up on the meter.
Here's Megan Carney, Syracuse's leading scorer. Off to Meaghan Tyrell. Great feed to her sister, Emma Tyrrell. The Tyrell connection, and Syracuse scores shorthanded. A player down, and it doesn't matter. The Orange, a 5-2 lead.
I'm going to star that goal on my stat sheet. I think that was a really impressive play. We see a goalie change right now for UNC.
Wow.
After that 5th goal being scored. Watch the play. The pick by Megan Carney does a lot of this. She's not going to get credit for the scoring play. But Megan Carney comes up, sets the pick for Meaghan Tyrell. Those defensive players need to, they're thinking that maybe they're going to switch off. Instead, the feed goes inside to Emma Tyrell. Love the patience. She takes that pass, is able to roll dodge, switch her hands, gets her 20th career hat trick.
And as you said, a goalie switch for North Carolina Sheehan. So this is Stella Harrison in goal. Has only played 27 minutes on the season. What a spot for Harrison, the redshirt sophomore, to get thrust into.
You can see Nicholas getting some coaching on the sidelines. And, you know, UNC, they've pulled their goalies. We saw it happen in the national championship weekend last year, pulling Taylor Moreno, just giving her a breather on the sideline, being able to see what's going on from the field.
Is it a little soon?
I think it's a smart thing. You don't want to wait too long. So right now, I mean, that goal team, they score a player down. They're having a lot of rhythm. Syracuse, a 3-goal differential. Still plenty of time for North Carolina to pick things up, but just reset and maybe cause a defense to tighten up.
Great draw control win by the goal scorer, Emma Tyrell. She's doing everything right now for the Orange. 2 goals, a draw control win. And Syracuse with all the momentum. Scored a player down, now back to even strength, trying to add another before the end of the opening quarter. Here's Sierra Cockrell. Double team, trying to run through it. Turnover. So after the goalie change, Stella Harrison didn't have to make a save, but North Carolina's defense comes up clutch.
And that's a lot of times what the coaches are looking for, that when you make that goalie change, the defense in front of the keeper understands that, hey, we've got to protect our goalie. She's coming in cold.
10 seconds left to the first quarter. 8-meter opportunity coming for North Carolina.
Official calling shooting space on it. I didn't see it from our angle. North Carolina is been 0 for 5 on their 8 meters. Not a great hash mark for Reilly Casey. They have to be more effective.
Not a ton of time here, under 9 seconds. Casey goes to goal, no angle. Whizzes it wide. Quick restart for Godine, fires it in, but nobody home. Strong first quarter for Syracuse.
You know, Syracuse scoring when they are a player down, some key defensive stops. Finish this first quarter extremely strong. Godine is able to get the Tar Heels on board, but Syracuse and their offense lead the charge. They're up 5-2. Each week we look at our opponent, and it's we just got to win this matchup. We got to win this game. So it's a gauntlet of a schedule in April. Get into the conference tournament, an ACC team. These two teams could be seeing each other in just a few short days if they get matched up again.
So tight at the top of the ACC right now. North Carolina, they trail by 3, but if they were to somehow come back and win this game, then they suddenly become the 1 seed in the ACC. So it's really the Tar Heels, the Orange, and the Eagles of Boston College that are fighting for that top spot. With about a week left to the regular season, still a lot to play for.
Carolina's got to clean up their shooting. They had 2 goals on 11 shots. And that's in their losses. That's when they've not been shooting effectively. 0 for 6 on the free position shots for Carolina. So just some areas where if this game could be a lot closer if they were able to be more effective. And a lot of credit goes to the Syracuse defense and Delaney Schweitzer.
Is it that they're not getting quality looks, or they're getting quality looks and just missing?
I think good quality looks missing. A lot of the shots, I like shooting low. If you can pick the corners, that's excellent. It looks beautiful. But when you're missing and it's goalie saves stick side high, you got to mix things up. So I would have liked to see on their 8-meter opportunity some more deception and shooting low.
Now 0 for 6 on free positions today. Godine trying to break that streak. No, she passes out. Interesting. Does that play in the psyche when you're 0 for 6 on free positions? Maybe you don't want to take them.
I mean, it could in terms of the setup play. Now, maybe that's coming from the sideline, too. Like, look, the 8 meters aren't working for us right now. Let's reset, get a better look at Cage. But if you don't feel confident taking that shot, I completely agree. You don't have to take it. So pass out of it and set up something better. A lot of times the 8 meters can become a mental thing. We've talked to coaches that have had that issue where they shoot great, and then all of a sudden they get up to the 8 meter, and then you second guess yourself, you change things up.
Off the pipe and in, Nicole Humphrey. Her second goal of the afternoon. Much needed for North Carolina.
Humphrey, 20th goal this season. Tar Heels have had some success when they're operating behind the cage. Caroline Godine running at X, and that cross-post feed and the placement. There's a beautiful low shot. And you see Schweitzer, she reaches up high trying to get the interception and maybe gets herself a little bit off balance.
Ends a 5.5-minute scoring drought. Exactly what North Carolina needed. Now, you always said, Sheehan, that when you've been following North Carolina, there is a player who emerges right at the end of the regular season into the postseason. How about Nicole Humphrey? 4 goals midweek against East Carolina. 2 of the Tar Heels' 3 goals today. Maybe the senior, number 9 for the Tar Heels, could be that player.
They need that player. They've been searching for the kind of the go-to player who is going to bring them back into this game for the last few years with the likes of Jamie Ortega and Katie Hogue. They had that player that led the offense, whether it was through distributing the ball, goal scoring. We see a hold call. You know, I thought that actually Sophie Student for UNC might be that player that was really going to take her game to the next level. She was super helpful in the draw circle for Carolina, and also chipped in a couple key goals, and one of those players. Now she's lost with a season-ending injury.
Now that's the other thing worth mentioning. North Carolina playing today without Student and Julia Dorsey. So that's 2 starters that you're playing without for the first time this year. Really have to mix and match the way you play when you take 2 important players like that off the field. Syracuse knows all about that. The last handful of seasons, it feels like they've had so many key contributors go down.
And that's the biggest question mark. Can they stay healthy? They've lost a lot of players to injury already this season, but we're seeing offensively so many stars. But can they keep Meaghan Tyrell, Emma Ward, Megan Carney all healthy?
Here's Meaghan Tyrell. Great feed inside. Savannah Schweitzer beats Stella Harrison. The Tyrrell sisters have been a part of all 6 Syracuse goals today, one of them at least.
Savannah Schweitzer, the sister to goalkeeper Delaney Schweitzer for the Orange. And this is just excellent patience when you're inside the 8-meter. Meaghan Tyrell, her head is always up, and Schweitzer's able to just receive the catch. She takes the extra second with the fake. She creates more separation by getting distance between her defender. You see the smile from Savannah on the sideline. Kayla Trainer told us last year that she was the heartbeat of this team and that she is just really the glue of the Syracuse team. Her celebrations are huge. So for a player that doesn't get a ton of the press, got a lot of high praise from her head coach.
Emma Tyrell wins the draw control. She's got 2 goals to her name. Her older sister Megan has 3 assists. Just 2 points shy now of her head coach Kayla Trainer for Syracuse program points. Curling around, shoveling it in, Megan Carney. Almost no angle, but the shovel goal. It's Carney's 47th of the season.
What a pretty goal.
North Carolina switching goalies again.
So look, Emma Tyrell, she's gotten a lot of the points, gets it to a wide open Megan Carney curling around the crease. Look at the placement of her shot. That's just deception. And she knows where she's going to place this ball based on where the keeper is. So she's recognizing, she's not, in her mind, I believe that she doesn't know exactly where she's going to shoot that shot until she realizes where the keeper is, so she's able to place it. If she wanted to fire that low, she could have. 180th career goal for Megan Carney.
And Alicia Nicholas back in goal for North Carolina, so the goalie switching continues. We've already seen 2 goalie moves in this first half alone, and we still have 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. 22 seconds in between those Syracuse goals puts the Orange up by 4.
Baxter now taking draw controls. Off alternate possession, this is going to be a Carolina ball, but they're going to bring this back.
Emily Null's not happy about it. Great opportunity for North Carolina, everything but the finish there. Wurzberger all alone, couldn't hang on to that pass, would have been an easy goal. That's the type of afternoon it's been for North Carolina offensively. They have lacked firepower and finishing in this game.
And the finishing, that becomes key as the games get tighter and closer as you get into conference, the end of the conference play, getting into your conference tournament. Those types of opportunities are really matter.
Meaghan Tyrell, 3 assists today, a lot of contact, offensive foul. Tyrell rammed right into Emily Knowles. Kayla Trainer giving the officials an earful as she runs out to the field to check in on Tyrrell.
This is not what you want to see at Meaghan Tyrell.
It's Tyrrell who's down, but the officials called her for the offensive foul.
So watch Tyrrell. They're going to call her for the charge. She gets checked in the head in the play.
Yeah, I don't see how that's a charge.
Not from that angle. That angle, it clearly looks like a foul.
Before the contact, Livy Lawton swipes her across the head right there.
Yep, that should have been a yellow card, and then she gets really jammed completely. That could have easily been 2 cards on that play.
And again, fouls are not reviewable. We had a review earlier in this game for a goal-scoring opportunity that is reviewable, but the officials can't take a look at this. If they did, I think they would see what we did in slow motion, way easier to see. In real speed, tougher to tell.
And so hard, because actually when we saw that in real time, I thought it looked like a good call for the charge call. But when you do slow it down, you can see that she was hit in the head, and now slow to get off. So yeah, I don't see that as a charge. Good to see her walking off on her own accord. Meaghan Tyrell, 3 assists on the day.
Point leader on the season for Syracuse with 83 in her career, 391, just 5 away from Katie Rowan for Syracuse's all-time point leader. And her status will be on every Syracuse fan's mind as her teammates try and protect this 4-goal advantage. North Carolina's been getting the opportunities, plenty of shots in this first half. They just can't seem to finish them. Wurzburger's been really quiet.
She's got the most experience on this offense. She used to play a lot at X. Now they utilize her more in front of the cage. Caroline Godine working from behind.
Shot clock down to 30. Pass deflected. Tessa Query got her stick in there for Syracuse. Battle for the ground ball, won by the Orange. Tried to get it to Schweitzer, can't do it. Great hustle by Reilly Casey. North Carolina still with an opportunity.
You don't want to throw the ball like that into the crease area. If anything, you can place it inside, but that could be very dangerous. Could have resulted in a goal.
The shot clock does reset for North Carolina. Here's Godine curling around, can't score.
She's got to step on the defender. I'd like her to see her to take one more step, increase her angle.
No call, falls out to Reilly Casey, who resets with Kaylee Harden. Back to Godine. This time it goes! Caroline Godine, so crafty behind goal. The freshman delivers.
Godine, she's dangerous operating behind X, not only because she can make the pass, but she can attack from both the right and the left side. This time she takes the pass coming around the left side, gets her defender a little bit off balance as she pretends to go right, quickly switches back with the face dodge, drops her stick, So watch the placement there. All you want to do is get a step on your defender. And this time, instead of taking another step into the 8 meter, she increases her angle by getting her stick further away from her body and shoots to that far post.
And North Carolina in the unfamiliar position of relying on freshmen, but players like Caroline Godine and Marissa White have really had strong first seasons here in Chapel Hill. The Tar Heels team that's known for big comebacks, trying to launch one here in the second quarter against undefeated #1 Syracuse.
It's going to be another alternate possession. That ball did not go above the shoulders.
Meaghan Tyrell not in there right now for the Orange after she went down on the previous possession. Natalie Smith on the move, fires another one that beats Nicholas. She has had 2 flamethrowers in this first half. So much speed on a quick release.
She's been one of those players that really stepped up last year when Meaghan Tyrell was out. Nat Smith gets the time, she gets the room, and the finish. Syracuse increases their lead to 4.
They hold their opponents to 7.92 goals a game. Syracuse already with 8, and we're just midway through the second quarter. This Orange offense has been on fire, Chan.
I mean, you just pick your poison here. Nat Smith has ripped to the corners. Meaghan Tyrell, so unselfish. She is a leading point getter. She's just excellent vision, can take it as well. Savannah Schweitzer getting in the action. And Megan Carney with a beautiful play. Huge momentum run. So just they're spreading out. I love the way that this offense, it's really hard to figure out what they're going to do because they work off what the defense gives you. 5 assists, 11 shots. So extremely effective. They lead the nation in shooting percentage, which I think is so impressive that you have this team that's there. They take all the types of trick shots. They take chances. And they're extremely effective.
Yeah, the efficiency is off the charts. They've scored 8 goals on 11 shots. 10 of those 11 shots have been on goal. And only 2 saves for North Carolina today. It's forced them into 2 goalie changes in this first half. Just feels like North Carolina can't find any rhythm defensively or offensively.
They're making it hard, even though that Carolina has been able to dominate in the draw control with possession. They were awarded 6 8-meter opportunities, weren't able to score on any of them. I think one of the things that makes it so hard to stop Syracuse is 5 of their 8 goals have been assisted. And then when you're making those passing plays, it causes the defense to have to shift and also the goalies to have to shift and try to read that.
North Carolina looking for a spark offensively. Godine had the last goal. Here's the freshman again. Passing out of the double team, tried to find White. White finally corrals it.
Marissa White, their leading goal scorer, haven't really been able to get the ball to her a ton.
Here's Olivia Dirks. Under 20 on the shot clock. And now a free position for Alyssa Long.
That was a shooting space violation. And the key to these offensive players generating those fouls is they've got to be looking to shoot and the opportunity to shoot. So you saw Long just carry the ball.
North Carolina 0 for 6 on free positions today. Long finally breaks through.
never like to see. Was one of the 5 Tewaaraton finalists last year. Many think she'll be back again on that stage in Washington, D.C. this year.
Would you say it's really between her and Izzy Skane?
I would at this point. And this has probably been the first year of, covering the Tewaaraton Award and throughout women's lacrosse, where usually by this point I could have 4 or 5 people that can give you the names. They may not be the final 4 or 5, but this year Meaghan Tyrell and Izzy Skane have separated themselves, and I'm not sure who those 3rd, 4th, and 5th players are going to be. We're going to see, is this going to be a green card? A green card. This is going to be a green card issued against Syracuse to Maddie Baxter, and she didn't give the proper spacing to Olivia Dirks coming off the draw, so they'll call that a delay game foul. It's a 1-minute penalty. It is releasable.
So Carolina player up now for a minute. Big opportunity for the Tar Heels. Here's Marissa White, been quiet, trying to unlock this player down defense for Syracuse. Godine done a lot of quarterbacking today, picks out a great pass, no finish though. Schweitzer to the rescue again. 6 saves in this first half for Delaney Schweitzer.
That was a special save for Schweitzer. UNC right on the doorstep. She's able to make the save, kill another penalty.
I think Nat Smith might have lost that one in the sun. Ball right back to North Carolina. So even though Syracuse kills the penalty, back to even strength. North Carolina back with possession. 5 minutes left to this first half. Here's Humphrey, 2 goals to her name. Behind the back, saved by Schweitzer again. 7 saves for Delaney Schweitzer, and the last 2 have been spectacular.
And that's a save that just fires up this orange. You can hear the fans erupting on that. Casey did not need to go behind the back there. She had the shot to take it right-handed. Oftentimes, when you don't have the angle, behind the back's your only option. Would have loved to see her just keep that in her strong hand and cash that one in. Watch the catch come around side. She's wide open there. She's non-stick side. Instead, she goes behind the back right in the stick of Schweitzer. Yeah, that's the problem. You got to finish it. When you have that opportunity to cash it in, you have to deliver.
And that's been North Carolina's problem all afternoon. They're out shooting Syracuse 17-11. They've got more possession, more opportunity, but far fewer goals, trailing by 3. "12 shots on goal, only 5 to show for it." Yeah, some of the saves, you're right, have been spectacular by Schweitzer, but a lot of those should have been finished for North Carolina. Clear out for Megan Carney on the run. Great save, Nicholas. And here's Brooklyn Walker-Welsh on the clear. North Carolina most dangerous in transition. Great opportunity for the Tar Heels. Here's Kaylee Harden, foot on the gas. Another save by Schweitzer. Wurzberger denied that time.
Ace save for Delaney Schweitzer. Carolina is able to get the rebound, and with that save, they will get a reset of the shot clock.
Feels like another one that should have been finished, though.
And she had the time, and right there, I think she could have moved. She threw the fake in, but you can move your body and get the goalie to move with you. All very fixable for Carolina, but just different than what we've seen from them the last couple of years when they've been just extremely efficient on offense.
Walker Welsh shoved, but no call.
That's got to be a call.
Wow, a lot of contact. Instead, play on. Jenny Levy is livid over on that North Carolina sideline.
And that was right in front of her. That's got to be a call. That was from the back. That's a push. Those are the fouls that her rule changes that she was proposing. That's what's going to try to go make a player down. I think that easily could have been a card. You can't have those types of play. We're trying to keep the game in goggles. That's the only protective gear that we have right now. So got to play within the rules. Watch this. The extension of the arms. And that's from behind. That's uncalled for. You
right into
can't
the
have
back.
that.
Meaghan Tyrell, 2 goals to her name today. Double team comes, passes out of it to her sister Megan Tyrell, who draws shooting space.
And those are those off-ball players for Carolina. You've got to get within a stick's length to try to avoid getting a shooting space call. I actually think the pass being a little off caused Meaghan Tyrell to create the separation, and she was able to draw the shooting space foul.
Here's Meaghan Tyrell. Great defense. Collapsed on Tyrell before she could release it. Here comes North Carolina. Little bit more than a minute left in the half. Tar Heels launching into an attack. They can hold for the final shot of the half if they choose to. Tar Heels have outshot the Orange 18-3 in this first half, but trail by 3. Great feed, the finish, Marissa White, the freshman who has scored in every game this season, adds her 34th goal of the campaign. And just like that, it's a 2-goal game. Here come the Tar Heels.
That's the answer. Marissa White's had a hard time getting involved in the scoring plays. Godine's able to find her. Watch the release point. Now let's start defensively. Meaghan Tyrell is usually good as gold coming in off that 8-meter. Excellent stick check. And then that pass goes before Marissa White's able to cut. She's able to catch it, get that release point off. Leading goal scorer for the Tar Heels. And she came off, just her scoring streak was strong. She didn't need a lot of time to warm up, coming a freshman, adjusting to the college game. Plenty of time left for either team to get a good scoring opportunity off this draw.
2 big goals for North Carolina. It was 8-4 Syracuse. The Tar Heels have cut that deficit in half. Adamson tried to win it to herself. Dirks relentless. North Carolina's dominated the draw today. Their 11th draw control win of the afternoon. Syracuse only 5. Tar Heels have time. Trying to make it a 1-goal game right before halftime.
They're going to have an offsides call, and you can see just Carolina being frustrated with that. That looked like they were going to get a great scoring play.
7 seconds for the Tar Heels on the restart. Caroline Godine has to move quickly now. Intercepted by Schweitzer, and Syracuse will go into halftime protecting this 2-goal lead. The Orange 14-0 when leading at halftime. They've led in every game this season, trying to keep that undefeated streak up. Coming up at half, we're really excited. You're going to hear from the NCAA committee revealing It's top 10 for the first time this season. This is going to be your best look at what the committee is thinking in season before we get to Selection Sunday.
It's been such a great that we have this ability to hear exactly how they are going to rank teams, get their top 1 through 10 rankings. The polls, they don't mean that much, actually. You get to this point of the season, what the NCAA committee means. The RPI factored into there.
Hard-fought first half. Syracuse and North Carolina battle atop the ACC. Number 1 Syracuse leads at 8-6 at the break.
So not much to worry about there, but a lot of the other ACC teams, their only path in is to win the ACC tournament. So it's when you throw the regular season record out, you're fighting for survival. Exciting point of the season now as we get into the final games, the regular season, the senior days, and head into conference play.
And Jenny Levy's North Carolina team has won 6 straight ACC tournament championships. Boy, they'd love to make it an incredible 7 in a row at the end of the month. For right now, they're focused on this second half. Number 1 team in the country, Syracuse, one of 2 teams left undefeated in the country along with Denver, trying to stay perfect against the reigning national champions on the road. North Carolina continues its dominance on the draw. That's now 12 draw control wins to just Syracuse's 5. And again, Tar Heels playing without their leading draw controller for the rest of the season, Sophie Stewart. What stood out to you with the draw? What's shifted it North Carolina's way?
Well, you know, I think what you just saw there was a play with Dirks. She didn't look like she was going to win that draw. It looked like it was going to go into Addison's stick. She did not give up, continued to reach her stick, trying to fight for possession, and ultimately came up with it. So the key to the draw is obviously placement and positioning, but then it becomes just a battle of heart hustle, and they're winning it at angles.
Balanced scoring for North Carolina. 5 goal scorers on their 6 goals. Humphrey's the only one with 2. Great feed inside. Even better save. Delaney Schweitzer shuts down White. That's now 9 saves for Schweitzer. Her career high is 15.
When we talked to Kayla Trainer about, you know, you've got so many probably Tuaraton hopefuls that could be on your roster. Who do you think besides a Meaghan Tyrell? Who else do you think could be? And she mentioned Delaney Schweitzer. I think she's playing top of her game right now, best goalie in the nation, and those are the type of saves. These kind of saves matter. On the doorstep, Marissa White, love how she comes up high on that crease, cuts down the angle, explodes to the ball.
Here's Emma Tyrrell, lost her footing, stays with it. Emily Knowles all over her. North Carolina trying to come up with the cause turnover. Battle for the ball, finally won by Knowles. Excellent defense from the senior, who celebrates her birthday tomorrow.
Knowles is a fun player to watch. Coach Levy described her as spicy last year with some of the plays that she's making. Those are kind of the plays that she makes it out of nothing. Comes up with the turnover, gets the ground ball. She's key on the draw circle.
She's a senior on this Tar Heel team, celebrated before the game with Senior Day. Although Jenny Levy confirmed to us before the game she will be coming back for a 5th year. Feed inside Scanoni. Goes back to Godine. Syracuse's defense has been really difficult to break down, particularly when it comes to that final finish. Scanoni whizzes it wide.
All right, come on!
Godine's done a lot of the quarterbacking today. Another great opportunity. Schweitzer got a piece of it. North Carolina reloads. Fresh shot clock.
You got to give credit for North Carolina getting some of those second chances off the rebounds, the ground balls, the errant shots, running those out.
Into the back of the cage. Godine tried to thread the needle. North Carolina out shooting Syracuse 22-13, but trailing by 2. They've had a lot more possession, a lot more shots, but they failed to capitalize on it.
For Syracuse, you know, I can't believe they've only had 13 shots. I mean, that is actually crazy to put up 8 goals. They're so good at finishing on those shots. And they don't need to necessarily have having the lead right now, but you do want to make sure that they're able to generate more possessions as they get into these tougher games coming down the season. But if Carolina was having a much better shooting day, this would put Carolina in a much tougher position. Sorry, Syracuse in a much tougher position.
Over the head of Nat Smith. Here comes Carolina on the break.
Uncharacteristic turnover for Syracuse, but a heads-up play for Caroline Godine to get that ball.
5 minutes into this second half, scoreless. Neither team has found a breakthrough at the start of this third quarter. Another talented freshman, Kaylee Harden, passes off to fellow freshman Marissa White. Jenny Levy relying on these underclassmen in a huge top 5 test atop the ACC. Godine, another save by Schweitzer. North Carolina gets the rebound.
Schweitzer's reflexes just can see the ball so well.
That time finally beating Schweitzer. 3 unanswered for the Tar Heels. Caroline Godine delivers again.
Godine has just been so effective attacking from an X. This comes around, she curls around the crease. Schweitzer gets the better of this opportunity, gets that right off. She gets a little help from the post as well. Her upper arm shoulder area. This time, Godine, she throws in the head fake, goes down low, sees the placement, and is able to finish on that score. She's really exploded this season. 19th goal as a freshman coming in. Worked her way in the starting lineup. She can handle the pressure, so they like her attacking from behind the cage. She can beat that matchup. She's also very unselfish, will dish the ball out.
Just like that, we've got a 1-goal game in Chapel Hill. North Carolina wins another draw. The Tar Heels with all the momentum right now. They've scored 3 in a row.
Senior day for this Tar Heel team. 41 straight wins on this field.
Syracuse on a 14-minute scoring drought. It's allowed the Tar Heels to come back in this game. Syracuse scored with 7:52 in the second quarter to make it 8-4. Now North Carolina with a chance to tie it at 8. Alyssa Long, one-on-one with Delaney Schweitzer, who's made 10 saves today. Long beats her! Alyssa Long cashes in on the 8-meter to tie it at 8.
Carolina making the adjustments, even up the score. After UNC had struggled all first half, converting on those 8-meter opportunities, Long is able to explode, carries this one in, somehow is able to keep the ball in her stick after getting stick checked. that is just heart and hustle. The Syracuse defenders were mad about something. I thought she was definitely tripped up after the goal went in the back of the net, but she did not enter the crease in on the score.
North Carolina on a 4-0 scoring run, 32 seconds between Tar Heel goals. All tied up at 8. Kayla Trainer unhappy about something. She's got her iPad in her hand, was trying to show the officials something on her iPad. And it's caused the officials to decide to review this goal. I didn't see anything on the replay that stood out to me.
I agree. You could tell that the defenders, though, were unhappy about something. As an offensive player, you're not able to enter into the goal circle on your shot. If you're pushed in after the goal goes in, or if you happen to run in after it goes into the back of the cage, that's okay. So we're going to look here. So off the 8-meter.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're looking at. I mean, not even close. In the back of the net, she takes 2 steps, then falls in after, but the ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah, and you can almost make the case that she was trying to avoid getting into contact.
Right.
If she had fallen in front of her or taken a step, she was going to run over a Syracuse defender. Again, this is an experimental rule. Having replay, you can replay scoring plays. You don't have to use it. The ACC is one of the conferences that asks for a waiver to use it. Some ACC schools do not have the equipment to be able to utilize it. Carolina does, and both coaches agreed to use it. Under this rule, both teams have 2 video requests per game. And if the on-field call is overturned, the team will retain its request. And the officials can also use the replay if they so deem that it's necessary. So gonna again watch this. I'm not sure what they asked the replay to be for. That ball's in the back of the net. Long does enter into the crease, but again, I really think she's trying to avoid contact of the other players, and the ball had already been scored at that point. So we're getting told they're looking to see if she went into the crease on her own. And it doesn't appear that she looked like to be pushed at all.
And it's so after the shot.
And usually the officials, when I've talked to officials about that, they have said, if the ball's in the back of the net, we let that slide.
Yeah.
Now, when you read the rules, you are supposed to stay outside of that whole goal circle area. So a lot of times you see when players score, they do a tiptoe around the entire goal circle. They don't want to go in there at all because you don't want to leave any room for discussion.
But this had 0 effect on whether it's a goal or not. At some point, common sense has to prevail. And this is the second time today we've had an extended official review in which I think one look is all you need.
We're going to see the officials make their call or get together with both.
So Kayla Trainer pumped her fist. Did they overturn this? So take the goal away from Alyssa Long. I get it, what you're saying by the letter of the law, but how many times have we seen that stand?
Not many at all, and I think this is really reading the rule book to a T, because when I've asked for clarification,
she takes 2 steps, and then her third might have touched the line, but she's just avoiding Syracuse players.
And you really are. I mean, when we were taught as young players, they said, imagine it's an imaginary brick wall around the crease. You're not able to enter into that at all. Now, clearly, that ball was in the back of the net. It didn't affect the play.
It's a huge call.
It's a big call, but when you are reading that, your stick is able to follow through in there as an offensive player. Your feet are not supposed to go in there. I don't think it affected the goal being scored at all. And it really was just kind of the momentum after the shot. But by the letter of the law, you're supposed to stay outside of it.
I'm in the camp of common sense. If it looks like it didn't affect the play, it should stand.
And that's how usually the plays are called. Now, oftentimes you see so much contact that it looks like they've been pushed into the goal circle area, and that's why you see a lot of those goals happen. And it looked to be clear from those replays that she didn't appear to be pushed, that it was by her own accord going into the goal circle. I get it. We don't usually see this call being made, though, especially when it wasn't part of the shot. The shot was released before that.
Huge implications overturning that goal. It was a tie game, 8-8. Now Syracuse with a 1-goal lead. 8 minutes left to this third quarter. Syracuse has not scored since the 7:42 mark in the second quarter, so nearing a full 15 minutes without a goal. What can Syracuse do to wake up offensively?
They just need possession. It feels like they haven't had the ball at all.
North Carolina has dominated possession in this game. Syracuse has been super efficient on the offensive end. Only 11 shots on goal, 8 of them have gone in. Here's Meaghan Tyrell. At times this season, it's like she has a magic stick. Always capable of making something happen, trying to pick out her sister Emma. North Carolina, big time turnover.
That looked to be a little forced trying to get the 8-meter.
Wurzburger goes low, ties it at 8. North Carolina, so dangerous in transition, defense to offense in the snap of your finger.
That is a key play, using the numbers, transition downfield. And Wurzburger, this time she gets the score, the fake high, shoot low. We've got a tie ball game. Stay with us. You know, they had not given up. They've exploded coming out of halftime, winning draw controls, making key defensive stops, and then most importantly, finishing on the shots. They've had the opportunities, at times they've not been able to deliver. They made the key adjustments, and they've battled back to make this a tie ball game.
That was the last goal. Caitlin Wurzburger tying this game at 8. Syracuse had all the momentum in the first half. Felt like even at halftime we said it feels like Syracuse should be up by more than 2, but North Carolina, relentless, has tied it up at 8. The heart of a champion. The reigning champions in this sport. Syracuse trying to keep their undefeated season alive on the road. This is setting up for a special finish in Chapel Hill. Big implications in the ACC as well. The winner of this game, likely your #1 seed in the ACC tournament. Syracuse has been dominated at the draw control circle. North Carolina 13-5. And that's the reason they even kept it close in the first half, is the possession.
And I mean, it's Syracuse. It feels like they haven't had the ball really in their stick at all offensively.
It's been almost 16 minutes since Syracuse's last goal. A lot of that, as you said, Sheila, they just haven't had the ball. Big draw control win for the Orange. Much needed as they try and halt all this North Carolina momentum. Maddie Baxter running through everybody. Meaghan Tyrell in attack mode. When you need a goal, you know who to call. Meaghan Tyrell. Just a terrific individual effort.
Huge play and answer from Syracuse's leader. When they had the ball in their sticks down the offensive end, they've been able to generate great scoring plays. And Tyrell, you can just see she's on a mission there. She wanted to get a good look on Cage. She's just able to use her strength. The placement of her shots are so key. You can see how pumped up she is. And you look at her climbing the Syracuse career points leaders, 1 away from tying her head coach, Kayla Trainer. See, Katie Rowan sits atop, 396 points, her jersey retired. I guess they call it retired. The number of days being hung up. His head
it's hanging in the dome. The first ever jersey for a women's lacrosse player in program history. So North Carolina went on a 4-0 run. Meaghan Tyrell halts all that momentum with a big goal off the draw control win. And you said it, Sheehan. What does Syracuse need? Well, they need possession. Well, they got possession, and Tyrell cashed it in about 5 seconds. And here's another draw control win for the Orange.
Godine just coming up with those 2 key draw control wins. Mackenzie Olsen, that was a tough catch. And once again, Tyrell, look at the spacing she has.
Livy Lawton all over Tyrell.
Come this way. Come this way.
It's a great look. Tyrell, the spacing, the offense, off-ball players give her room to attack.
Didn't get the hands free and a foul called. So Meaghan Tyrell now with a free position, an opportunity to tie her head coach, Kayla Trainer, with 393 career points. Will be tied for second all-time in Syracuse program history. Tyrell one-on-one with Nicholas. Charges in, too much on it, and Walker Welsh there to intercept. Big stop for North Carolina.
Huge stop, and that was a second 8-meter for Meaghan Tyrell, where she just held the ball on inner stick for a second too long, and UNC is able to get a stick on that. First time was a stick check, then it just was a deflection.
Here's Caroline Godine. She's been the catalyst offensively for North Carolina. The freshman, 36 in white. She's operated from behind the cage. Has it again. 35 seconds left on the shot clock.
See how Syracuse opts to cover her from behind the cage. Looks like Godine's hobbled from behind the cage too right now, maybe cramped up.
Yeah, Godine trying to shake something off behind the cage. So North Carolina can't go to her. Seconds left on the timer. Great feed, the finish! Nicole Humphrey ties it as 9. Godine hobbling off the field as her teammates celebrate the Nicole Humphrey goal. Hat trick for the senior.
Humphrey has been coming up clutch. This is all patience. Moments before Godine gets the ball, she was in pain trying to work something out. Maintains composure to get the pass. And beautiful feed from Wurzberger. Great quick stick. So UNC really able to find some of the seams through this Syracuse defense.
Well, after a career-high 4 goals midweek against ECU, Nicole Humphrey follows that performance up with a hat trick. The senior out of Darien, Connecticut. She's been really clutch in front of cage. You see Godine getting worked on. She fought through the pain on that possession. Played a big role in, got the hockey assist, if you will, on that goal.
Yeah, and if anyone's ever had a cramp before, it kills. And you could just tell just by the way she was moving that her calf had cramped up behind the cage, but knew that she needed to be that point person from behind the cage. Able to suffer through it, and now hopefully getting that worked on the sideline to be able to come back in. But it is a hot day today in Chapel Hill. Humidity is high.
All tied up at 9. Not much to separate these two teams battling atop the ACC. Now, if you're a 4-year senior like Nicole Humphrey, you have never lost at home. 41 straight wins here at home for North Carolina. And Syracuse trying to stay perfect on the season, 14-0. Just a terrific battle between two elite teams.
Good patience for UNC.
30 seconds left on the shot clock. Trying to break down the Syracuse defense. Great save. Schweitzer there again on the stop. But a lot of these saves have ricocheted out, allowing for second chance opportunities for the Tar Heels.
And I feel like Carolina's come up with those 50-50 ground balls.
11 saves today for Delaney Schweitzer, but North Carolina piling up the pressure here at the end of the third quarter.
So Caroline Godine has been on the sideline with a cramp. Looks like she's ready to go back in. Right now, Caitlin Wurzberger operating from behind.
Here's Reilly Casey. Elizabeth Hillman. Under 15 seconds to work with. Syracuse had to defend for a lot of this game. Schweitzer makes a save. A lot of contact after the follow-through. A yellow card shown.
Wow, so this is going to be on the follow-through.
A dangerous follow-through.
Nicole Humphrey with 3 goals on the day. Watch her take the pass inside, and then on the release, a follow-through hits the defender. Good call from the officiating crew to see that.
So Syracuse now player up for 2 minutes, and there's 2 minutes appropriately left in this third quarter. It is releasable. Big opportunity for the Orange right at the end of this third quarter. They have been starved for possession in this third quarter. North Carolina outscoring Syracuse 3-1 since halftime. What do you want to see here if you're the Orange?
You know, I think they can beat this, when they're up a player, you can beat the defense with the ball movement, and they are so good at creating the defensive spin. So good ball movement, creating the scoring lanes that you can actually drive to cage, and making the slides longer for UNC.
Great pass, the finish. Olivia Adamson cashes in on the player-up opportunity and fires Syracuse back in front, 10-9.
Huge answer for Syracuse. They get the player up. Olivia Adamson, 22nd goal this season. Emma Ward with the assist. Haven't seen the ball a lot in Emma Ward's hands. So effective with her passing. You don't know where that ball is going to be released from. When she has that stick right by her shoulder, she can fire that to any different angle. She doesn't really telegraph where she's passing it, which makes it tough for the defense to have to cover. Back to the draw circle where Carolina's doubled up on Syracuse. 14 draw controls to Syracuse's 7.
Well, the penalty is released because of the goal. Jenny Levy not happy about something. So back to even strength. Minute 20 left in this third quarter. Battle for the draw control. Every single one of these at the circle has been earned today. Syracuse comes up with that one.
Coco Vandiver, excellent ground ball. This has really been Syracuse. The only thing that they can really correct so far coming out of this game is getting more touches on offense. 10 goals on 16 shots for them. So when they've had it down here, they can basically score at will.
13 of those shots have been on goal, and they've scored 10 of them. Insanely efficient.
We're going to see an off-ball foul on Carolina. This was on Meaghan Tyrell. So even though she didn't have possession of the ball, the foul was on her. And now she will get set up on the 8-meter.
Tyrrell passes out of it, and Syracuse scores. Natalie Smith. A hat trick for Smith. And with that assist, Meaghan Tyrell now moves tied for second in Syracuse all-time points alongside her head coach, Kayla Trainer.
What a special point. Kayla Trainer so proud of what Meaghan Tyrell has done as well. And look at this. Meaghan had not been successful off the 8-meter. She knows that. She realizes who she has to her left-hand side. Nat Smith is one of the best in the game of exploding after she receives the pass. A lot of times players slow down once they make that catch and then they go to shoot. It's really great if you can just keep the same speed. Nat Smith actually gets faster after she gets the pass, is able to score. You look here. Meaghan Tyrell, 85 games compared to Kayla Trainer's. If the Orange continue, their winning ways can add to that game total and likely take over.
We asked Kayla Trainer to describe Meaghan Tyrell this week, and she said she is so unselfish, not driven by stats. She's driven to do what it takes to win. That goal really important, obviously, with stats, but both Tyrell and Trainer could care less about the accolades. They want to win this game. And after a scoring drought of nearly 16 minutes for Syracuse, the Orange, 2 goals in 47 seconds.
You know, I think what Meaghan Tyrell has done over her career at Syracuse, they've, over the course of the last couple of years, had to suffer through so many injuries. And Meaghan Tyrell has had to take control of this offense, especially last year. And really grown as a player, handled that leadership role. Now they've brought back a lot of players that were injured last year that are back full strength this year. Let's see what the officials are calling.
North Carolina ball. 19 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Seconds left in the quarter. North Carolina has to hurry, and Schweitzer there to intercept it again. She has ended 2 quarters that same way. Delaney Schweitzer, an outstanding performance.
Climbing the charts, the career points leader, now tied with head coach Kayla Trainer. So many of her current players say that they grew up watching her play. One of the reasons that they wanted to come to Syracuse or were so excited when she got the coaching job.
Well, Trainer, who was the offensive coordinator for Boston College when they beat Syracuse in that 2021 national championship, now the head coach of her alma mater. Could this be the year that Syracuse finally breaks through and wins the program's first ever national championship? Certainly have a team capable to do it. If you can win a game like this, break a 41 home winning streak against the reigning national champions, you'll have all the confidence you need headed into the postseason. Not going to be easy, though. North Carolina has continued the battle back in this game. Funny enough, the Tar Heels haven't led since it was 1-0, but they've hung around. They've put themselves in position here, only trailing by 2 with plenty of game left. Great feed, Godine. Schweitzer the save. to deny Elizabeth Hillman from point-blank range. 13 saves for Schweitzer. A long outlet pass, too long. Walker-Welsh called for the foul.
Very physical play. You can see every ground ball matters. Emma Ward's going to be warded back position. I mean, that UNC offensive play, that looked like it was a sure goal for Elizabeth Hillman. And Delaney Schweitzer has made just so many great saves on the doorstep. The transition she's made from last year, really, where she sat on the bench for a lot of the remainder of the season. Split time at the beginning of 2022 and then saw less time throughout the season and has earned the starting role this year. Dramatically increased her save percentage, her goals against average. Look at that huge play. Nice pick by Brooklyn Walker-Welsh.
Up ahead, Hillman with plenty of room in front of her. So dangerous in transition. Got the shot, no finish though. Wurzburger there to back it up for North Carolina. The passing for both of these teams, I mean, if you're a young player, this is the two teams to watch. The passing is just tremendous for both of these teams.
They don't always make the easy pass, but they make the right pass.
North Carolina has had 30 shots in this game, almost double Syracuse, and yet trailing by 2.
Goalie play has been one of the biggest difference. Syracuse 13 saves, UNC just 3.
Shot clock down to 20. Godine. Back to Kaylee Harden. Tar Heels have to move quickly here. Shot clock with 8. Finally a breakthrough. Reilly Casey. And North Carolina back within 1.
Little sideline celebration. Reilly Casey able to connect. She's had 6 shots in on the day. This is her first goal. Had at least 1 point in every game this season. She's the leading distributor for this Tar Heel team. And like the mix-up of the shots, you see Wurzburger, she fires this one into Reilly. And then drops her stick low, so catches it up high. And the release point is low. When you're shooting against a hot goalie, you need to make sure that you mix things up. Carolina needs Reilly Casey involved in this game. Seven different goal scorers for Carolina.
Back to the draw control circle where the Tar Heels are doubling up the orange, 16-8. So you're never out of the game when you dominate at the draw control circle. Even though Syracuse dominated that first half, you had a feeling North Carolina could launch into a comeback, which they have because of how dominant they've been at the draw. Syracuse's largest lead was 4, and it has been cut to 1.
And these are the kind of games that you want, especially if you're a team like Syracuse with the #1 ranking. You want to be challenged. You want to have to be able to respond, get yourself. You can practice all you want, but when you're in real competition that matters, when the wins and losses really count, this is when you want to see how do people respond, what can you work on. And same thing can be said for North Carolina. When they were challenged against Notre Dame and Northwestern, they weren't able to come back. Can they do that against the Syracuse team?
There's no bigger challenge than the reigning national champions on the road, a program that hasn't lost here at home since 2019, 41 straight wins. Syracuse giving North Carolina everything they can handle. Megan Tyrell picks out a beautiful pass again, no finish. Savannah Schweitzer. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Emma Ward. Another gifted passer on this orange team. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Ward eyeing up her options. Finds Meaghan Tyrell, trying to squeeze it into Query, and a foul called with 1 second left on the shot clock.
So you have to release this shot before the shot clock goes down to 0. So basically, no time to run it in. You're just going to need to step and rip it. Yeah, that's a foul. It actually could have been a card, too, across the body and neck area.
And you basically just have time to step in and let it rip, right?
Step and rip, yeah. You can see here the players saying, what's the shot clock at? Now they're going to 2 seconds. A big step and rip. You don't have much more time to do anything else.
Big moment for Tessa Query, one-on-one with Alicia Nicholas. Both teams have struggled from the 8-meter today. Syracuse 0 for 4. North Carolina 1 for 7. Big stop for the Tar Heels. And if you're looking for Ohio State Johns Hopkins men, that game is in a weather delay. We'll keep you updated. If it does begin while we're still playing here in Chapel Hill, it'll start on the ESPN app, but hopefully they stay in a weather delay until we're finished here at Chapel Hill, and then we'll get you right to it.
That should be a great game. Johns Hopkins playing so well.
The Big Ten wide open on the men's side this year, whereas on the women's side, it feels like Northwestern and everybody else. North Carolina has a much better flow in this second half offensively. Can they get that finishing shot, though? They've struggled to put it in the back of the net. Delaney Schweitzer, 13 saves. Shot clock under 10, another whistle here.
They're calling a 3 seconds violation on Syracuse. That's when a defensive player is in that 8-meter, not guarding a player within a stick's length. The whole purpose of that foul is to prevent crowding and a safety call, but this sets up an 8-meter.
Well, we mentioned North Carolina 1 for 7 on 8 meters today. The one goal, Alyssa Long. She has it here. Ties it at 11. Alyssa Long, a terrific individual effort to tie this game.
What a game. This is what you hope for. Conference rivals. Long explodes, and watch it, she makes sure does not enter into that crease area on her follow-through. Protection of the stick. Gets Delaney Schweitzer down to her knees and is able to fire that non-stick side. Knotted up at 11.
Syracuse has not scored in this fourth quarter. 2 Tar Heel goals, ties it at 11. Buckle up, a fun 8:45 to go. What a battle this has been.
Back and forth. And interesting, just the games within the games. Carolina dominating on the draw circle. Delaney Schweitzer with some excellent saves. Syracuse's offense being, so efficient with their shooting, but not having a ton of chances on their offensive end. Carolina getting those extra ground balls.
And Syracuse is stuck with Olivia Adamson in the draw control circle. Would you think about making a change with how dominant North Carolina's been?
Well, they had Maddie Baxter in there as well, working and trying to, mix things up. I feel like they were able to win a couple possessions when she was at the center circle. A lot of it's not necessarily been the draw taker winning it to themselves. It's been the outside circle players. Addison with a key win here.
Big big-time win to herself. All tied at 11. Syracuse has led for much of this game. North Carolina's only lead came when it was 1-0.
Looks like Syracuse about to set an overload play up.
Here's Sierra Cockrell. Decides not to unload. Meaghan Tyrell trying to pick out a pass. Maybe she'll take it herself. Trying to find Emma Ward, knocked away.
Oh, they're going to give it back. Looks like they're giving it back to Meaghan Tyrell. That looked like Elizabeth Hellman made a clean defensive play.
Clean. Tyrell somehow kept her footing and fires Syracuse in front. What a goal, Meaghan Tyrell.
Looks like Tyrell is slow to come up once again. When you need a goal, Syracuse looks to Meaghan Tyrell. She takes this on her own, fires it in. You're not supposed to go into the goal circle at all. Usually in a lot of games we've seen those goals actually still count. This goal, however, I thought it was visibly clear that Tyrell was shoved in the back inside.
Well, they are saying she was shoved because she's getting a free position right now.
And so are they saying,
So they're saying there was a foul, which leads to the free position. But the goal doesn't count because she released it after she was in the crease. That's the explanation we've been given. Right or wrong, we play on. Big time stop for North Carolina. Syracuse thought they had a 12-11 lead through Meaghan Tyrell. Instead, it stays a tie game and the Tar Heels have the ball, looking for their first lead since it was 1-0.
Didn't even get that call, to be quite honest, because you're not allowed to review the foul. It's just about the goal. So if they had called it a goal, then it either should be no goal, and then it just stays, and then they miss the foul. So it'll be interesting to see if experimental review happens. I mean, you can definitely see there's been calls in games that it could be very useful to have.
30 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Caroline Godine. So crafty. Has a step, curls around. Save! Delaney Schweitzer to the rescue. 14 saves, one shy of her career high.
you know, Schweitzer, Godine is so dangerous attacking from behind. She's able to slip some by Schweitzer, but she holds strong there. And, you know, I think next time Godine comes around, she can adjust her shot, maybe go low, drop that stick to the lower level, with Schweitzer holding strong high.
Tyrrell through a double team, squeezes it by Nicholas, and this one will count. Meaghan Tyrell, relentless after her last goal was waved off the Delaney Schweitzer save. Tyrell puts it home.
When Syracuse has needed a goal, Meaghan Tyrell has stepped up. And watch as this started from the Delaney Schweitzer save, exploding to the ball. The save is awesome, but also just controlling it in the quick clear. Tyrell, she fights through the double team, gets her stick and hands free.
And that a big goal in the game, obviously firing Syracuse in front, but also passing Kayla Trainer now. Stands alone, second, only behind Katie Rowan. It's Syracuse's all-time career points leaders. 2 goals, 4 assists today for Meaghan Tyrell.
That record, Katie Rowan played from 2006 to 2009. So she's held that top spot for a long time, and Syracuse may need Meaghan Tyrell to chip in a few more points a day. We are on record watch.
Just 2 shy of that, tying the all-time record. But Meaghan Tyrell, Kayla Trainer, this orange team, they are focused on getting this win. 5:40 left in regulation. The drama continues to build here at Chapel Hill. The reigning national champions. Every time Syracuse is edged in front, they've had an answer. Do they have another left in them in this 4th quarter? Does North Carolina have to launch into the attack a little quicker, It feels like they're letting the shot clock run down to under 20, under 15.
And I think that causes the defense sometimes to just relax a little bit. And they've been able to get those shots off. Still think they're most effective when they're attacking from behind the cage.
Humphrey has a hat trick today. And here's a shooting space violation, free position coming for the freshman Kaylee Harden. What a stellar campaign she's had in her first year in Chapel Hill. Tar Heel blood, her father Boyd, an All-American when he played at North Carolina. Lost her footing there and smartly got it out to reset. Seconds left on the shot clock. This is when the Tar Heels have attacked. Back to Harden.
Still very crowded in there.
Godine with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Tees up Casey, who ties it at 12. With 4 seconds left on the shot clock, North Carolina answers.
Carolina's not really been able to find room to dodge to go to cage, but they have been effective at finding some of the seams inside. And Reilly Casey gets her 2nd goal of the day. And Godine, that's a beautiful feed. She's seeing through the defense. Her head is up. It almost looks like her body's going one way, and she's able to throw that by her back shoulder. And Casey with a beautiful finish.
With Caroline Godine as the quarterback, this North Carolina offense looks a lot more fluid. They found a rhythm, and they have tied this game at 12.
She has been a star today. 2 goals, 4 assists to Caroline Godine.
We are tied for the 4th time. Not much to separate these 2 teams. An outstanding game was a lot of hype coming into this game, and it has delivered and more.
It's the back and forth, no team giving up. Again, this is the atmosphere that, as a coach, this is what you want your teams to be in right now.
Now, we said at the beginning of the game, feels like the postseason push starts today. This game has only enhanced that.
Well, I mean, this is what you want to be playing when you get into the conference championship type play.
Megan Carney goes to goal and scores! Syracuse, an immediate answer.
Megan Carney feels like the ball hasn't been in her stick much in this second half. Tyrrell draws a double team, and you don't want to leave Megan Carney wide open. Beautiful placement. Again, look at what she's looking at to shoot. She just sees that sliver of space between the pipe and Nicholas. Gets her 48th goal this season. She leads the Orange in goals scored. Battled back from an injury suffered last year.
So 19 seconds after North Carolina ties it at 12, Syracuse leads. These two teams just going punch for punch in a heavyweight fight atop the ACC. Every time Syracuse is nosed in front, it feels like North Carolina has answered. Crucial draw control win. They dominated the draw all afternoon.
So you see UNC utilizing just a patient offense. Had a ton of success when they've operated from behind the cage. 8 of the 12 UNC goals have all been assisted.
Just swap. I'm here.
Feels like the freshman Caroline Godine has ignited this Tar Heels offense today. Most of the success coming from her behind the cage. She's calling for it. Has it now. Give and go with fellow freshman Marissa White. And now shooting space. Nope. A shove in the back before White released the pass, so not a good angle for North Carolina here. Kylie Motif storms in. Did not cross the line. Credit to Lainey Schweitzer with the save. That ties a career high, 15.
I mean, when you have a keeper that you can rely on, she had 15 saves in that Virginia Tech game, 11 saves against Northwestern. When you're making double-digit saves, that just it gives your whole team confidence.
Two minutes left in regulation. Syracuse and North Carolina still with all their timeouts remaining. Here's Meaghan Tyrell, deciding not to go to goal. Now recounters, goes lefty. Great save, but Meaghan Tyrell keeps it alive. No angle there from Meaghan Tyrell, tumbling to the grass. 90 seconds left. 20 seconds on the shot clock. The officials discussing.
Let's see, I mean, the way Syracuse was able to generate more opportunities off that scoring play. $20 seconds left to go, so it's important to start to attack the cage now. Emma Ward being tightly guarded.
Adamson has it for Syracuse, now Ward. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Ward patient, now releases. What a goal! Meaghan Tyrell!
able to get the pass, which looked like be a couple inches too high. Emma Ward curls around. Look at the reach for Meaghan Tyrell. Then she's getting shoved out and is able to still finish on the shot. Beautiful finish. When the Orange have had scoring chances, they've been able to deliver. 14 goals on 25 shots. Meaghan Tyrell is one of those players that you can just rely on to score. So dangerous off ball. Can basically catch anything that you throw at her.
2-goal lead for Syracuse. A minute 12 remaining in regulation. North Carolina with their backs against the wall. A 41-game home winning streak on the line. Tar Heels haven't lost at Dorrance Field since 2019. Battle for the draw control. One. Katie Goodall has it for Syracuse. And now it's just about killing this clock for the Orange. The shot clock is off. And if you're North Carolina, you have to pile on the pressure here.
Yeah, you want to start double teaming right now. Do not let them, you got to put pressure on immediately. Pressure's got to be on the ball and release. Pull the goalie. Make them go to goal and try to score. You need the ball back.
Just no pressure coming for North Carolina. This is surprising. 30 seconds have come off the clock. 30 seconds left in the game.
Especially being down 2 scores, you need the ball back right now.
Syracuse looking too comfortable in possession. 20 seconds left. North Carolina still hasn't pulled the goalie. And now a hard foul comes in. A yellow card, and that'll just about do it.
That's a hard foul. That's also one of those things. These are learning things. You don't want to get a yellow card when you're trying to get the ball back. I mean, 10 seconds to go. Syracuse can count this as a win right now, but surprised they didn't go into action sooner trying to get the ball back with double teaming.
And Syracuse stays perfect. The Orange come into Chapel Hill and knock off the reigning national champions. A statement win. 15-0 for the first time in school history, and they snap a 41-game home win streak here in Chapel Hill.
#1 in the nation is undisputed. Syracuse, this was a hard-fought game between both teams, but to come in to Chapel Hill to win on Dorrance Field. Now I expect to see these two teams meeting up again for luckiest fans in the ACC tournament, but this is a huge regular season victory for Syracuse. Impressive battle for both teams.
Kayla Trainer and Syracuse, a statement win. 14-12 the final. What a game for she and Stanward Birch, our terrific crew. I'm Jay Alder saying so long from Chapel Hill.